All right, so we have moved on to a very good position in this playlist or in this section of the course where we have achieved quite a lot. In fact, almost all that we wanted to achieve is already being done. Our focus was majorly to design a simple application which uses the clerk as an authentication and keep the entire authentication system little out of it. And we learned about setting up the Prisma, Neon DB, and a whole lot more. Now, at this point, what we're building up is just our regular software. And obviously, our goal is not to build a to-do application, but I will still not hesitate to walk you through that how these applications are built. Maybe you want to have a little bit more experience towards Prisma and dealing up with the CRUD applications. So I'll walk you through with that. Again, the source code will be entirely available to you, but let's just plan this out. Let's make this video as well so that I can walk you through. Again, it's not going to be full-fledged because the goal was not to build a software, but actually to walk you through how to build a SaaS starter kit. And if I just walk you through, so this whole part that we were worried about, whole of this is now all done. We have the clerk, we have registered user, we have webhook, we have this green box already being covered, we have this user part, admin part all covered. Now what goes inside this user, like you want to consume a service, you want to create some things, update some things, delete something, 1,000 facilities can be given to the user and 1,000 plus 1 can be given to the admin as well. So whatever you do inside in there, this is not like primary objective of this section, but still I'll walk you through. So if I just go up here in the regular application section, I would love to do and create a simple route, which is subscribe, in which you can have a post or get. Get gives you that how you are subscribed or not, and post is going to just click and say, hey, now you are subscribed. Now it's your job up to how you want to make sure that user is subscribed to your service. Maybe you want to add an additional pay button there. So if the payment information is being captured, you send that information to your payment gateway. If it successfully captures the payment, then only you give that, or you just want to give them directly. It's totally up to you how you design your service. Similarly for the to-dos, obviously you're not going to be, nobody's going to buy your to-do service. You need to write a little bit more on that. But just for the sake of it, let's just say we have a post and get in the to-dos. So you can just go ahead from the home page, you can post it, you can list all the to-dos. And maybe if you click on any particular to-do, then you want to either append it, like you want to mark it as complete or not, or you want to delete it. So this is a really classic functionality that you work with that. But I thought let's make a video on this as well so that it gives you an idea. Maybe you want to have more experience of how the Prisma works, how the basics are being done. So I have actually created the routes for all of them. As you know, the subscription, we are writing the APIs or the backend part of it. So look at this, the route for subscription is just there. Then we have to-dos. So inside the to-dos, we have this basic route file, which will act as this one. So to-dos, this whole post and get will be written here. And if I open up this square box ID, that means capture all the routes. So whatever is written after slash API slash to-do slash whatever the path is, we'll capture that. And in that, we can actually select an individual to do and mark it as put or delete, like check marked and all of that. Again, this is a bit of an advanced section here. So I am expecting that you know how to build your softwares because the goal was to actually teach you how to build a simple SaaS application, which has role-based access also. Now, how you build your software, right now we are just going with the simple to do, but maybe I have an old playlist in which we learned how you can use Cloudinary to build your own AI powered application, which can compress the videos, compress the images and reshape them, resize them. So maybe that application can just inject right up there. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that video. It's a whole series. So it's a really fun series that we built with the Cloudinary. So it's up to you what you want to serve with the user. All right. So let's get started with the subscription. First of all, what I want to do is build the subscription service. So we'll have two methods. The first one will be post. Another one will be get method. So how do we do that? Pretty basic stuff. The first one is get the next response because you will be sending some of the response that's 100% sure. So next response, and we will be needing auth from the next clerk next. So let's just say I want to bring auth. This auth will help you to grab the user directly, so you don't need to consult with anything. So I'll just go ahead and say this is clerk Next.js and make sure it's server. Again, it's really important that you go ahead and read more about this auth. We have learned so much about the hooks, so I think it's all done now. And I will also grab a Prisma from the lib Prisma. So this will give us the connection string for that. Whenever you want to make any API call, it's a classic 101 Next.js, I would say, that how do we write the backend API points. So I'll just say export async function. This one will be post route, just like that. And there we go. So this is how we write the post, and this is how we write the get method. Again, whatever you want to write, however you want to wish, these are the verbs that we define. In almost all of them, you first want to grab the user. So user is actually given to you via this auth, and you can just go ahead and extract it just like this. So what do you want? I want a user ID from this, and based on this user ID, you can actually inquire with the Prisma. You can inquire with clerk if you wish to have something. So that's basic. Now, if you're not able to capture the ID, then it's a problem. So just go ahead and write a simple classic if statement here. Let's say if we don't have any user ID, then let's just go ahead and return a response. So we'll just say return next response. Let's throw up a JSON response like this, and we'll say, hey, we received an error. And this one is unauthorized. If you're not able to get that, that's unauthorized. And let's say we want to put up a status of 200, not 200, obviously, 400, rather 401 precisely. So there we go. Really basic, no big deal there. Now the next step is obviously this is a subscription. So the idea is if somebody clicks on the subscribe, made a post request, maybe at this point you want to capture the payment detail, a whole bunch of other things. So let's just say this is a part where you capture payment. So maybe he's clicking on the entire field where he enters his credit card and all these information, and then click on subscribe. So this is the part where you come and write the logic for payment capturing. Maybe you're using Razorpay, maybe you're using Stripe, PayPal, whatever you're using. This is the part where it goes. And assuming that this is all done and happy, now let's go ahead and add subscription to that user. That's pretty simple. That's a classic 101 logic. So let's just say we hit a try catch. In this, we first of all go ahead and say await, then use Prisma, and look out for a table that is user. And once we are in that table, let's go ahead and find that. You should have find that in advance if you are capturing the payment. Otherwise, why we are doing this? And we need to write a clause that, hey, which user we want to find one. So in the Prisma, you can just write a where clause just like this. Notice here the where clause. The where clause takes an object. So this is how it goes. You provide what field I'm looking up for, what value I'm looking up for. So I'll just go ahead and say I'm looking for a field of ID where the value is going to be user ID, just like that. And that's it. Your Prisma query or your SQL query is ready. Behind the scene, Prisma will create an SQL query and will find it. You don't have to worry. Assuming that, let's just say it has given me a user, then it's all great. If there is no user again, then I think we can actually borrow this code. And yep, so let's just copy this and paste it up here. So if we don't have any user in this case, then obviously we would love to send a response. Instead of unauthorized, rather better would be user not found. User not found. Obviously do this before capturing the payment or hitting the payment services, but you get the idea. Now, what do we want to do? Let's just say we want to grab, first of all, when is your subscription, current status of your subscription. So let's just say we want to grab subscription ends. So for this, we are going to say new date. All right. So this is your subscription ends. What I want to do is I want to extend 1 month in the subscription. So what I'll do is I have captured what is the current date right now. And once I'm done this, I'll just say subscription. And inside that, I'll say set month, which is a classic method. What month do I want to set on this one? So whatever the current month is, I want to activate the subscription for the next month. I'll just say get month here, get month, and I'll just say +1. So that's a classic 101 technique that, hey, we are grabbing the subscription for whatever the current month is, and I'll add the subscription for 1 more month. Now I have this field which says subscription ends, which is also a field in my Prisma. Notice here subscription ends. So I'm just expanding this one. So whatever the value is, I'm just fitting up that value. All right. And time to hit another query to update the value. So how do we update the things? Again, everything starts with await. Whenever you're hitting the database, awaits, try catch is your best friend. So we simply go ahead and reach out Prisma and we say in the user table, we want to update something. So again, classic method update. You don't have to write SQL query. Prisma does everything for you. So for this, how do you want to update? I want to update with where clause, obviously. So the where clause is exactly same. We are looking for an ID field where the ID is matching the user ID. So once you have find out this one, what is the data that you want to update? So this is my data, just like that. What are the fields you want to go? First of all, I have a field which is subscribed. Yep, that's the one. Nice suggestion. All thanks to the Prisma client that is giving us these suggestions. So we'll just want to mark it as true. We have another field to add, which is subscription ends, and we have a value field which we have actually added just above here. So this is the value we have updated. So go ahead and fill it with this one. All right, so this is all what we have. And if you wish, you can store this user into a variable as well, which says update, not like that, updated user, and there we go. Now it's totally up to you whether you want to send this field to the front end or not, or whoever is consuming this API. I think sending this is a good idea. Next response, just like that, and we say JSON. There we go. In the JSON response, let's just say we send a message, and the message says subscription come on, subscription successfully. And we will also say that, hey, subscription, let's just also give this subscription ends for this. So for this updated user, let's give that one field, which is subscription ends. Again, up to you how you want to consume it, how you want to go with that. This is the part where I'm not much worried. And again, if we have an error, let's just go ahead and say console.error, and we say, hey, there is an error, or we can just have it like this. Error updating subscription. There we go. And I think it's a good idea to return a response as well. Next response, and we'll say again a classic JSON. We should have a shortcut or maybe a method which does all of this. For this, we'll send an error just like this, and we'll say internal server error. And if we want to send, we can send the status as well, because we messed up somehow, don't know how, but there's a 500. This one is on us. So you get the idea that whatever you want to do, this is the functionality part. That's why I'm saying this course was, or this playlist entirely was not designed for the functionality part, but you get the idea. You're getting some fun, and you're learning how to deal up with the Prisma. And there is no second thought actually. When you work with the Prisma, there is no second thought that I'll write my query. It's all just methods and function. So again, really nice. Let's just say we have this get method as well, which gives you the subscription as well. Now, how you want to grab it, totally up to you. Let's write this one as well. It will be fun. So some of the stuff will be same from the top, I guess. So yeah, we need actually this. We don't need to capture the payment. This is just a status. So let's just come back here and say, hey, this part we need to do. After that, let's open up our try catch block. And inside the try catch, the goal is simply to find the user. So I think that part is also the same. So yeah, I guess this is the part. We can copy this, same logic. So in the try part, we try to find the user with the unique ID, and we want to get its status. Now here's the interesting part. What we can do is a little bit extra. Previously, we were finding all of this, finding unique, but turns out there is one more thing that we can do. I'll just grab this onto a next line so that it's much easier. Turns out in the Prisma, you can actually select what fields you want to grab. Like we have in the classic regular SQL statement, select. Why is it not suggesting me? It is select a field. Okay, why are you having an issue? Cannot find the name select. Oh, my bad. This should be actually, yep, this is a find unique method. So I'll just go ahead and bring you up here. There you go. Should be much happier now. All right. Yep. Arranging them a little bit. Excuse me for a second. I just need to, yeah, there we go. So in the select field, what you can do is you can mark that, hey, these are the fields I want to select, and you send me that. Don't send me whole data. So let's just say this is the is subscribed and this is true. So I'm not marking the value as true. I'm just saying that, hey, I want this field that you give it to me. Subscription ends. And there we go. So now we have only the subscription value, not the whole users and emails that are coming up, because the whole idea is I just want to send the user that, hey, what's the date is he subscribed or not, and all these fields, so that based on this, somebody can mark that, hey, subscribe, or can disable that button or remove that button entirely from the stack, from the DOM itself. All right. Now further is, let's just find what's the date so that we can find out whether you are subscribed for this month or not. So let's just say we create a variable now and we say new date. So now we have a value that, hey, this is my current date. And based on this, I can find out a true and false that, hey, whether you are subscribed or not. So let's just say we create a simple if statement. In this we say that user dot subscription ends if this field is present. And not only that, this fields should be less than now. That means, hey, you're not subscribed. So I can send the message just like that. So I'll say subscription ends if it is less than now. Again, I don't have to do the date conversion. It will do automatically for me. I love that part. In this, now we can just go ahead and say that, hey, let's update the user and flush out all the fields. Maybe that's what we want. It's highly dependent what you want to do with this get methods. If somebody is calling this get and subscription ends, anyways, we're not much worried. So let's just say await, and we'll say prisma dot user dot update, and just goes like that. And we are updating the field as well. Let's just select, we have a where clause, classic ID, which will be mapped to user ID. And then we can just go ahead and update the date, not date, data. What is the data that you want to update? So in this case is subscribed becomes false because it's a new month. So every new month we change it up, and we simply go ahead and say subscription ends. We just remove everything from there, and that's it. Now we have marked the subscription as gone. So yeah, as soon as a new month changes, it will find out. And basically what we have written is that if this goes up and subscription is less than now, if it is a new month, then it's all gone. Yeah, pretty good. Again, it's all functionality. I'm not worried about what's happening, how is it happening, and all of that. I just wanted to show you different methods. So that's the goal. Not focusing much on that. It was not planned in the tutorial as well. Return next response, and we'll say JSON. If you just wanted to send the status that, hey, what's the status of right now, or what the values are right now, so that front-end guy can do all the things, you can do that as well. No worries. And I'll say is subscribed. Let's just is subscribed. That field I'm sending as false, because if this is true, it's all false. Otherwise, it is subscribed. So I'll just go ahead and say here, and we'll say subscription ends. Copy that. Oops. Copy that. Need that field. And I'll just go ahead and send this as null. Now this is the case where I'm checking whether the user has less of this. If that's not the case, if the user subscription is not less than now, that means he is subscribed. So in that case, I don't have to do all these checks and all of that. If that's all the case, let's just return this. Return next response. I hope you are able to understand the logic that I'm writing. If not, I'll just explain it to you. No worries on that part. So in this case, we just need these two values. Copy that. Oops. And paste it up here. So this one is, we have the access of users. So we'll just say user dot and is subscribed. And here also we'll send the user dot subscription end. So let me walk you through in case you got confused in that part. So in this particular get route, what I have done is, first of all, I have found out the user. I think that part is very clear. Then I went into the Prisma and said, hey, give me this user and give me the detail about the subscription is subscribed and is subscribed ends. And again, for every time you are making this request, you might be making this request in the month of January, then February, then March. So I need to know in what month you are sending the request. So this part is also very basic. No need to worry on that. So the first thing is I need to know that what is the current month right now. Based on this, I can find out that the subscription date that I have added in the users table field, whether that's an active field right now or not. And if that is not an active field, I'm just making some cleanup in my database so that I can just remove the everything so that I don't have to even check in the further. Maybe you have subscribed for the month of March and now it's April, and in the April month the subscription is gone. So that's what this particular piece of code is checking. So I'm saying that, hey, user has this field, it is there. If it is not there, that means it's all gone. The subscription is not even there, so that's no problem there. But if you have the subscription ends field and subscription is less than now, that means, hey, you were subscribed in previous month, in this month you are not subscribed. So I extra went ahead into this one Prisma and said, hey, now let's remove his subscription. So we removed the subscription and send the response that, hey, you are not subscribed. But in case your subscription is not passing this particular stage, that, hey, it's not less than now, it's more than now, that means you are subscribed, and I'm giving you the status that yes, you are subscribed and you're working with that. I hope now it makes it clear. Sometimes writing the code and explaining it on the go, because this is on the go code. This is not pre-planned code. So this is it, and we can borrow some part of the code from the top, at least this part, which is the catch part. And I'll just go ahead and throw it up here. And we can just go ahead and mark it like this, or write it full error, doesn't really matter. So you get the idea, and whole bunch of idea that how this is being done. So we have worked on the get, post, all of this. Similarly, we can work on the to-dos part as well. So all the to-dos, whatever you want to do, you want to find all the to-dos. Maybe you want to find just the post of them, some of them, totally up to you how you want to work with that. And again, we are also restricting the user that, hey, you cannot make more than 3 to-dos free. So you have to check that in the database every single time, that what's the count of it. So it would be a fun exercise. Let's do that based on this. So in the to-dos, let's open up the route. This is the classic route. And I think we can borrow some of the top code. Yep, why not? So this is my route. Let's bring this up. All right, so what we're going to do is we are also going to mark an items per page so that we can have, if we wish, we can have the pagination as well. No problem there. And again, rest of the stuff is going to remain as it is. So this is going to be async, export, async. Why is it not highlighting the color? And we'll say function, and this one is going to be get method, just like this. There we go. So what are our plans with that? We will have get, and we will have the post as well. We'll worry about the post in a minute. So post is just adding the new to do. That's the one. And the get part is where you simply grab it. Again, basics are going to remain exactly same. So yes, we can borrow this piece of code. We have to find the user in any case. So let's just say we find the user and it's all there. Now, maybe you want to introduce, because it's a get request in the to-dos, maybe you want to inject the search functionality as well. You want to inject the pagination functionality as well. So that also is fairly easy. So from the new URL, you can grab the request URL. So request URL, and that can give you the search params as well. So let's just say we simply go ahead and work like this. And I say this is going to be search params. So you have grabbed this one, request.url. All right, why are you not having the access of request? Because I never gave it to you. Request, that will be of type next request. There we go. Now you have access to this next request, and now I'll be able to grab the search params out of it, and I can give you the page as well, that what page you are on. And that should be fairly easy. That is page. How to do that? I'll just go ahead and say inside the search params, I'll get the page as well. You'll send it to me with the name of page. The thing is that this needs to be in the number. So how do we do that? The easiest way to do this is say parse int, use this method, and there we go. So now we have this whole thing. Now, if that is not coming us in the number format, that means we'll just parse it as 1. All right. Why are you having the issue? It says argument type string is not assignable. That's interesting. So search params.get, and we say page. That is an issue. Or what we can do is mark this as like this, and now 100% either this will be converted into 1, or if we get the value from the string, it should be okay now. All right. Maybe you also want to give the search functionality within this particular route. That is also possible. So let's just go ahead and say we give it a search just like this, and you'll give me a search params. and .get. This is classic Next.js 101, and I extract it with the term of search. All right, and if that is not the case, I'm not able to grab it, then I'll mark this as an empty. All right. Okay, now the thing is, how do we search based on this? How do we write the query? It's going to be a little bit of a longer query in the term of Prisma, but again, no big deal. So let's try this out. So we just say await prisma dot, this time we'll hunt in the to-do table, and we want to find many this time. All right, let's see, how do we write the query? Okay, because there's a lot of things that we want to find, but also the most important thing is I want to find the to-do for the user, for my user only, or whoever is logged in. So the first clause is obviously a where clause. And in the where clause, I'll just say that, hey, you need to find based on the user ID only. User ID. So ID will be automatically matched with the user ID. Okay, once we have this, then we want to match based on if we have search parameters. So let's just say we want to have a title, and in the titles we'll provide the field like contains. We are not hunting for the precise one, but we'll just say, hey, if there is a search title, let's just go ahead and fill that. And with this, it is also recommended that you give it a mode, which is in case sensitive. Insensitive, which is actually case sensitive. So it's not insensitive, it's in case sensitive, but we write it this way. All right, so once we are done with this, this is the classic query that is being written. So where clause ends. Now, how do you want to arrange it properly? So maybe you want to give it order by clause. Yep, that's also allowed. So let's just say we want to have it by created at, and then it can be like this. All right, so order by, we have talked quite a lot in our Udemy course on this one. And how many you want to take. So there are two things in the Prisma, the take and skip. So let's just say you want to take, how many you want to take items per page. So I'll just say that, hey, give me items per page. So these many items I want to take. Now, how many you want to skip? Because on the first page, if you are taking all the 10 items, good. But on the page 2, you need to skip the 10 items and start from 11 to the 20. So for this, I really like how Prisma actually deal with that, which is skip. How many items you want to skip. And this is a classic formula in case anybody has worked. So this is page minus 1 and times items per page. If you have worked any time in the pagination, this should be by heart to you now. But the whole idea is if the page is 1, so that means 1 minus 1 will be 0, and we'll be multiplying it with the items. So whatever you multiply 0, so that means you are not skipping anything at all. And again, on the page 1, you are not skipping anything. On the page 2, as soon as you move, 2 minus 1 is 1. So, and 1 times 10 is 10. So you're skipping the 10 items. If you move on the page 3, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So 20 items you are skipping on the third page. So it's from 21 to 30. Classic 101 technique. So this is how you actually craft. And once you're done this, that means you have a lot of to-dos. And now we can store that into a variable like this, to-dos, just like this. And now we have a lot of to-dos. Okay, and I want to find out that how many to-dos are actually there. So if you want to wish that, hey, I'll give you that idea about how many to-dos, you can send this to-dos as well. User can find it out. It's an array anyways. But since we are here, we can actually write another query as well. So await, and I can ask Prisma, if I can write that, Prisma to do and dot count. And there we go. Again, we have to provide the query here as well. Again, nobody writes a query like 2 times like this, but just to show you stuff. So again, the where clause is going to remain exactly same. I want to find based on the user ID, and title is going to be like this. Same thing. Whatever we have done above, we are going to do exactly same. The only new method that comes up here is the count. This returns you the number of rows that it has counted. That's it. Nothing, no big deal. I'll say contains the search field, and we'll say the mode case insensitive, but thank goodness the autocomplete is there. All right, so this is the part where you can just have it into a variable, call this one as total items. There we go. So this is the list of all the items. Maybe there are 100 items, so maybe you want to work with that. You can find that in the from the to-dos as well. It's up to you. It's up to you that how you are actually doing. Maybe you want to send the total pages. If you want to send the total pages, that's also an easy one. I'll just say total pages. Total pages is pretty easy to find out how many total items are there, and divided by items per page. That's easy. Let's also seal this up, otherwise not a good one to send like this. I'll just say math.seal. I'm having fun. You can already see that. All right, so this is the one, and now let's send the response, otherwise I'll be keep on invoking more methods here. Return next response.json. I love to write backends. JSON, just like that. What do you want to do? I want to send the to-dos. These are all to-dos. Also send the current page, not current user, current page. What's the current page is the page. We also would love to send the total page, total pages. Why are you complaining? All right, so pretty good. And this catch part, not worried too much. I'll just borrow the code. The error should be handled much nicely, but I'm not worried at this point, whatever is coming in. You can handle that. I am absolutely sure on you. All right, so this is the fun part where we worked on the get, and we have worked on even the search part, the pagination, the order by. It's a good fun stuff, and there is nothing more to discuss on this. So this is your classic crash course on Prisma. All right. Okay, what do we want to do next up? What we were doing. So this is the to-dos. We were adding the to-dos. So we were getting the to-dos basically. We haven't posted a to-do yet. I haven't done that. Okay, let's have some fun with this one, and also let's restrict the user so that he cannot post more than 3. That's all the logic part. So let's go up here. The top code is going to be same, at least this much. Copy that and bring it. Copying the code is never a problem. Copying the things which you don't know what you're copying, that is the problem. All right, so what do we want to do? First of all, what we want to do is find the user itself so that we can actually link it up, and we have to craft a query as well. Anyways, so this is the user we have find out from the authentication itself. Now we want to look into the database as well. So prisma.user find unique, and this method will take a where clause and find it based on the ID, which is going to come up with the user ID. And we are going to say that, hey, this time go ahead and include. Include is basically your join operation. So this is going to join the together. What do we want to include is like this. So we'll just say go ahead and include. There might be many of them, so we want to include to-dos, turn it on as a true. So that's it. Now you have not only grabbed the user, but actually you have grabbed all the related fields with that. We can store that into a variable just like that. So what is happening right now is we have this user, and based on this we have to-dos, and this to-dos needs to be looked up into this to-dos. So all the arrays, just give me all that information as well. That's what I'm saying here. In case any point of time you find that, hey, I don't know what this include is, you can just go ahead and look onto this. Nope, we have to go for this. So I think we have a tab open for Prisma. Yep, I can search for this. So include relational databases, of course. Nope. We have to look for it. Include method. All right, so invoke the raw query method. No, not raw query. I think this is where we can find some of the methods. Yes, this is where how you have to dig up into this. Ooh, too much, too much. Ooh. Did I crash it? I guess so. I crashed it. Anyways, so you get the idea. I'll show you more on that. So by the way, if you are confused like what's happening, how is it happening, it's a good idea to just go ahead and say, hey, I'll just go ahead and do a console log of user like that, so that you know that what exactly I'm getting, what this result is giving me. This is always the best thing to do in case you're not able to find what's the detail on the docs or something. I'll also go ahead and check if there is no user, then it's a good idea to just stop the application right here. So we'll just say return and we'll say next response dot JSON, just work like that, and we'll say error will be user not found, and we can have a status which can be 404 because user is not there. All right, so this is the basic. Now let's come up into the logic part. Yeah, I want that user should not be able to post if he is above the threshold. It could be a top variable value, it could be environment variable value as well. It totally depends on you. I want that the user should be subscribed, and if user is not subscribed, then highest limit I want to give is 3. So let's just write this. Let's write this into a piece of code. I want that user should not be subscribed and the to do should be less than 3. So not user subscribed suggestions, no suggestion. Why so? There is a field there in the user. Yep, is subscribed. I am looking for this. So copy that. Why are you not suggesting me? Oh, because I forgot the wait. That's why not suggesting me. Is subscribed. Oh, by the way, in case anything, this is a personal trick that I want to mention this. And again, bookmark this in case you're watching this. So whenever in the Prisma or any such thing, you are not getting these suggestions, that means you forgot the wait. So keep that in mind. It will save you so many hours in the debugging. And thank me whenever you find that. All right, so if you are not subscribed and your user, now we have access to to-dos. So this whole to-dos, and by the way, this whole to-dos is an array. So now classic JavaScript kicks in. So if it is to-do or to-dos, good job there. To-dos.length, I can find this length, it's a classic array. If it is greater than or equal to 3, and you are not subscribed, that means, hey, I'm not going to allow you to do so. You have exhausted my limit of creating to-dos. It's so funny that we are restricting the user on this mere thing of creating the to-dos. JSON, just like this, and we simply go ahead and say error, and we'll passing an error. Free users can only create up to 3 to-dos. You might be wondering, now you're writing good messages when it comes that, hey, somebody is going to pay for it. Please subscribe to our paid plans to write more awesome to-dos. And if you wish, we can send the status as well. Status, and status would be 403. Again, it's up to you what status you want to send. All right, but if that's not the case, this is a classic check whether you are paid or, but if the check doesn't went into, like you are allowed to do so, then go ahead and grab the data from the body. So request.json, request.json. So there we go. Hold that into, or let's just directly destructure. So I'll just go ahead and say title, just like this. And we don't have access to request. So request, which is going to be of type next request. All right, so now you have access to this. Now in this case, we are just having the title in the to-do itself. But if you have more things, rest of them things are actually automatically coming up. But if you have more field, go ahead, grab more field. Not stopping you. Nobody can stop you actually. After that, hit that Prisma and set that into the database. Prisma.todo.create, and this is how we create. All right. We need to send just the data, and data is just one thing, which is title. We will also send the user ID because we have access of this. Now let's store that into a variable, call this as to do or new to do or created to do, whatever you want to call. And then we'll simply say that, hey, we want to return the next response, just like this. A simple JSON would do. And inside this, let's just directly send the to do just like that. And we'll also go ahead and say status is 201. Everything was good. All right, fun. It was fun writing this. So that's why I say logic writing is always fun. You just need to think out loud. That is the most important part of it. All right, and I'm pretty sure I've done some mistake and most of you will be able to catch it. And that's the goal. You become better than me. That's what makes me happy. Oh, we also can write some of the routes for individual to-dos where you can actually hit the put request to update the to-dos. You can just go ahead and hit the delete as well. Delete is actually probably the easiest one. Let me just write at least the delete, and you can write the put as well. No big deal. I'll give you the code as well. Don't worry, I'll write that. Okay, this is the one where we are going into the to-dos and capturing the params now. All right, so the basics remain exactly same from the top at least. And copy that. Why do we have current user? We don't need that. Paste this. This is the basics that will come. And let's at least write a delete method just for the sake of fun. Export async, and we'll be saying function delete, just like that. All right. What do we want to do in the delete? Now, delete, I expect that first of all, I do have access to request, which will be next request, just like that. And not only that, I need more access. So you'll be sending me params, because without the params, how we'll be able to grab anything. And this params needs to go like this. So we'll be having params. Again, we are in the TypeScript world, so that's why additional types are always there. And I expect that this is going to come up as an ID and in the format of string. This is a little awkward. So what this basically is saying that I'm expecting I have an access to request, but it's also saying I'm expecting that I will be having a parameter access. So it will be something like, hey, somebody is coming up into /API/to-dos. And after that, there will be some ID, like it could be 1 or it could be any gibberish like this. So whatever that is, I need an access on this so that based on this, when I find the user, I can know that which to-do I'm actually interacting with. So for this, I'm saying that, hey, give me that params. Now what this params is, I'm mentioning its data type as well, that this params is going to be of type ID. And because in the square brackets, I've written ID, that's why this ID is important here. And this is going to be a type of string. This is Next.js 101. This is nothing has to do with the Prisma or the application that we are building up. All right. Once we are here, let's just go ahead and grab the user ID that we can grab from auth itself. There we go. Let's check whether it is there or not. If we don't have a user ID, then we simply go ahead and say, hey, return next response. I would love to enable my AI extension now because it's all flow now. Error is going to be unauthorized. Unauthorized. All right. This is the basics. And once I'm done, I would love to send a status as well. These regular things of status, AI really take care of them really well. The boring part, they take really well. Of course, we are interacting with the database, so let's fire up a try catch and see that how we can write that. First of all, I want to grab from the params, I would like to grab the ID so that I know that which to-do I'm handling. So to-do ID, I will be able to grab that through the params dot.id. Again, the reason I'm saying it as ID, params, I'm able to say ID because in the square brackets in the route, I have mentioned in the squares that this is going to be an ID. Now find the ID from the to-dos table. Pretty simple. Go ahead and await, call your Prisma and say, hey, I want to find a unique prisma.todo.find unique and mention your criteria. That means your where clause. And we'll say, go ahead and hunt for ID whose ID is to-do ID. That's it. Once you have grabbed it, go ahead and store this. So you have access to this to do now. And now feel free to do whatever you like. Delete it, edit it. The functionality is going to remain same. Just make sure that you have some to do. Otherwise, if you don't have to do, it's going to be awkward. So copy this, paste this instead of user ID. If you have no to do, then it's also going to be like this. To do not found. And I'm assuming that you have a to-do access now. And not only the to-do, also make sure that you are able to find the to-do which is your to-do. Otherwise, I don't want you to delete other people's to-do. It's also simple. If we have this to-do, we know that in each to-do we are storing the user ID. And if that is not equals to the user ID that I have grabbed from the clerk, then that means you're not allowed to do this operation. So in that case, just go ahead and return the whole execution from here. next response. Told you, pretty simple to check these things. Next response.json, and we can mark this error as forbidden. Forbidden. And we can just go ahead and simply say status is going to be 403. That is it. Really basic. Now, since we want to delete, don't want to update, we could have done that as well. Let's just go ahead and say await. We just need to hit the query now. That's it. Prisma.todo dot. Why are you not happy? Why are you not happy? Prima. Okay, I missed an S. Prisma. Prisma.todo.delete. Now we know exactly which one to delete. This is our delete operation. We need to fire up a where clause. Every single time you update or delete, you need to have this clause. I'll just say ID, and we'll just go ahead and say to do ID. Just go ahead and delete that. If you want to store that into a variable, go ahead and do that. But I think we are all done. Now I need to just send this response. So copy that. And once this is all done, I'll just send the response. And this time it's going to say not the error, but message. That's going to say to do deleted successfully. All right, looks good. Pretty awesome. Now the error part, yeah, we're gonna borrow. Copy that and paste it and change it. So again, the error part is totally gonna be same always. We could have written a simple method, put it into a utility file and have brought in, because these are the things we are doing every single time. You get the idea that how this is not really fun now, because it's all like building an application. But the good thing is you are learning more about Prisma and how it's being done. The more you want to know, just go ahead and read the docs, figure out how to do the things, and that's all you have to do. And again, in the admin also, it's almost like the same. We just need to check that whether user is having a public metadata as an admin, role of admin, and that's it. Then start doing all the things. Really basic at this point. So I hope now you have. And by the way, I will give you more of these functionalities. So delete we have written, but I'll also go ahead and write the put as well. But again, you can just look into the code base as well. The whole code I always give in my Github as well. So go ahead, check this out. And if you are there, just go ahead and mark go ahead, boost my profile there as well. All right, so I hope you have enjoyed this part in this section. It was quite a lot in depth about the Prisma, handling that. And also writing logics is always fun. The more you see them, the more you see like it's not really that bad. You just need to think out loud and do things one by one. It has, hope this video has given you enough of the idea about building your logics, writing the things, writing functionality, a lot of fun thing. So that is it for this video. Hope you have enjoyed it. And in the next video, we'll have a small discussion on a couple of more things. It's still there. That is it for this one. Let's catch up in the next one.